welcome. I'm here to talk about my book Survivor and the giveaway I've got going on and the Kickstarter and how we're on our way to the third stretch goal, which is super exciting. And then I may start reading chapter one. So, um, so yeah, I'm excited. We'll just let a few people come on here. Um, and I've got some potential interview questions. So I can answer those. And if you guys have any questions you'd like to ask me in the comments below about my books and being an author and writing and publishing and that sort of thing, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'm so excited. So my book Survivor is available now on Kickstarter. It's book 6 in the Valiant series, but you can jump into the series at any point because it's a series of standalone fantasy books that are all building up to when the heroes all come together to defeat the big bad guys. So you can jump in any book. So feel free to jump in reading Survivor if you want to. And I'm very excited about it. So in the Kickstarter, I do actually have multiple tiers going on, including other tiers where you can get the Valiant series as well. So if you like the ebooks, paperbacks, hardbacks, like all of that stuff, it's on the Kickstarter. So Survivor is a deadlier version of Survivor the TV show meets the Hunger Games in this standalone fantasy novel. In this game, players must fight to survive. The Night Climbs call it tradition. Everyone else calls it a nightmare. Every year, the Night Climbs capture 50 humans and throw them into a twisted, brutal game of survival where the rules are simple: fight to live or die. Contestants must battle in pairs through deadly obstacle courses, brutal puzzles, and blood-soaked combat while relying on allies they can't always trust. They must find food to prevent starvation at camp while navigating shifting strategies, fragile alliances, and opponents willing to do anything it takes to win. When the Night Climb host introduces powerful crystals into the game, everyone wrestles with the temptations of lying, stealing, and joining their enemies, doing whatever it takes to live. Every choice could be fatal. The Night Climb's twisted game breaks everyone it touches. They'll betray friends to get ahead. They'll compromise everything they believe in just to survive, because in this game only monsters win. In the end, only two will make it out, and they won't be the same. So that is the blurb for my book Survivor. Like I said, it is a deadlier version of Survivor, the TV show, mixed with the Hunger Games. It's epic fantasy. You go, girl. Thank you. So yeah, the Kickstarter is available now. Okay, so let's keep the comments appropriate, please. And yeah, if you guys have any questions about me, my books, me being an author and my books and stuff like that, let me know. I'm gonna see if I can make a pinned comment here, linking to the Kickstarter, because this is epic fantasy. So if you like the Hunger Games, then if you like Survivor the TV show and like the politics and stuff, but instead of getting voted off the island, they get killed, and the Hunger Games, so it kind of has the Hunger Games vibe to it, then if that's your thing, then you will like this book. I will post a link in the comments, and everything. Here soon I may read the chapter 1. And thank you, Ray Royal. You've got my back. Keep it appropriate or leave. So sorry for that, girl. Thank you. Yeah, it happens. People troll. I am not concerned. For some reason I can't get on the live chat. It's very weird to have me on both screens. So yeah, what kind of books do you guys like to read? I am curious. I kind of read all kinds of stuff. I'm a big fantasy person. I like writing fantasy. I like reading fantasy and writing fantasy. So there's the link to the Kickstarter. I'm gonna see if I can pin the message. So the Kickstarter is now pinned at the top of the chat. If you guys want to go back the Kickstarter, I would really appreciate it. The opening tier for the ebook is literally only $5, so it's the price of a cup of coffee, and this helps me keep publishing and stuff. So reading the chat, so sorry for that. What about me? I don't know, did somebody say something about you? Thank you. Yeah, they were referring to the other person, I think. I'm not sure. So Thank you for what we'll buy. Thank you. I'm so happy. Yeah, and also I have a giveaway going on my YouTube channel. So if you back the Kickstarter, come back to my YouTube channel. I have a giveaway going on. All you have to do is comment in that video that you backed the campaign, and you'll be entered to win the giveaway. So, which that one, the giveaway I'm releasing is Dark Magi, which is like Lord of the Rings, D&D, and Skyrim. So I'm sending this exact paperback copy to the winner. Nobody has entered so far, so you have a high chance in order to win because nobody's entered yet. And I'm giving away the audiobook to this, narrated by Albie Robles, and the audiobook to Samurai, another book in this series, which is like feudal Japan, a fantasy version of feudal Japan. That one's narrated by Colleen Arnold, and then a mystery box gift bag, basically, where I'll be giving away bookmarks and character, or like illustration art and stuff like that. Yeah, Ray Royal, there are only 6 days left, so back while you can. Yes! Yeah, there are only 6 days left, so once this is gone, it will be gone. So the Kickstarter edition will have illustrations that designed by moymoy13.art on Instagram. He's also on Fiverr. He is extremely talented. You can see some of his art on his Instagram page. So it'll have the illustrations. It's going to have a book signing and numbering page where I will sign it exclusively to you guys, and to anybody who backs your paperback or your hardback will have a numbered copy. There's a Spotify playlist page with a QR code at the bottom so that you can scan it with your phone and go straight to the playlist page. I've got a lot of songs on there, and I keep adding songs as I go. So the ones that are mentioned is not exclusive. There's going to be more. I've also will have a detailed character guide. So the main version will have a basic character guide. This detailed character guide will have details about the characters that the regular one won't. And it has of the character guide, there's like 30 characters in there. 12 of them will have sketches that will also be in that guide. And then a short bonus story at the end will also be in the Kickstarter edition, and this is the only time you're going to be able to get that. This Kickstarter edition of the book is this Kickstarter, so there's 6 days left. Rolling, that's a thick book. Yep, it's a thick baby. I'm so proud. It's really funny because my book, Samurai, at the time when it came out, it was book 3. I thought that was going to be the thickest, and this is almost twice the size of that, so it's kind of funny how that ended up working, turning out and stuff. So yeah, it's been really interesting. So like I said, the Kickstarter link is pinned at the top of this chat, so you guys can go check it out. And then if you do back it, come back to my YouTube channel. I have a, Immortal is pretty big as well. Yeah, Immortal is actually just slightly longer. So I did the word count and figured it up in my one of my YouTube videos. But if you do back the Kickstarter, be sure to come back to my YouTube channel. I have a giveaway video that should be pretty, like, one of the first videos up there, and you comment on that video or my Instagram page. There's a pinned post on there. Comment backed, and you will be entered to win the giveaway. And like I said, I'm giving away this and a couple audiobooks and a mystery gift pack with like art and it's basically a mystery swag bag, I should say, with art and bookmarks and stuff like that. So you guys don't want to miss this. And there's only 6 more days to get this book. So shall we read chapter 1? I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I think we should. And let me know if you guys have any questions about the book. My book series is me being an author, any writing and publishing questions. I'm really happy to answer that because I love helping out other authors. And I do have some pre-selected questions to answer if none come in. So I've actually got quite a bit of people kind of floating around, so that's cool. So like I said, this is Survivor, the TV show, but Deadly meets the Hunger Games. So not actually inspired by the Hunger Games. It just coincidentally ended up having a lot of similar vibes. So, yeah. So let's start reading chapter 1. Name, Vita. Gender, woman. Race, Ren. Age, 18. Shivering, I sat in the metal cart, chained by steel cuffs, with my wrists in front of me. I leaned my bruised cheek against the cold steel bars lining the metal cart. All my life of scavenging on the surface of our world, Highcombe, and I'd never come across steel as good as this. My father and older brother worked to sell what parts we could find and traded them with others for scraps, for food, and enough water to survive. Most other Wrens like me did the same. At least, my family and I used to. My father had always warned me about the raids. When those night climbs emerge from their underworld, beware, little Vita. They'll take anyone, Wrens like us from the surface, the Ymir who live up in the crystals. I swallowed deeply and gazed at the towering crystals, which stood as tall as mountains in the distance. "Let me go, you filthy pieces of scum!" A broad-shouldered buff male with a thick brown beard and mop of matching brown hair shoved against two tall, slender, white-haired Nycline male guards. Even though they already had the red-faced male chained, he slammed his head against one of them. That only succeeded in hitting the back of his head against the Nycline guard's silver helmet. As the buff male Ren staggered forward, they shoved him inside the cart. The other Ren woman who had been captured with me looked a few years older than me, but she whimpered at the sight of the guards and hunkered down, hiding behind her long strands of bright red hair. I would do no such thing. If they planned to force me into their games, I wouldn't go so easily. The instant they tossed the buff, brown-haired Rin man into the cart, I slipped beside him and tried to squeeze my tiny form in between his bulky body and the open cage doors to escape. But the Nyclime's faster reflexes easily caught me. They slammed a rod sparking with electricity at me. I danced back inside the cart in time to avoid getting hit. By then, they locked the doors. Our cart had been filled. Their strange technology snapped to life, and the cart hovered in the air to take us to their sick games. My father had spoken of a friend of his who had managed to scrap an older cart that had what he called a hover disc, and the friend claimed to have gotten it to lift the old cart into the air a few minutes before it died. Father said they kept their technology close and that we'd likely never find anything worthwhile on the surface. Now, I desperately tried to peer through the bars to get a glimpse at one of the discs. They hummed and popped, but I couldn't get a close enough look to see how exactly they worked. I glared at the Nycline woman in the cart with us. When the guards had thrown me and the red-headed Ren woman in here, my eyes had landed on the Nycline female. Even when looking around me, I kept her in my peripheral at all times. Her tall, slender body rested against the corner of the cart, squeezed in between the four others in the caged cart meant to hold only three. Now it held me, the Nycline woman, the red-headed Rin woman, the bulky brown-haired Rin man who cursed and muttered under his breath, and a quiet, short, dark blue-haired Limir man. Well, all Ymir stood shorter than Ren's, especially compared to the tall Nyclimes, but he at least looked tall enough to nearly be Ren height. His eyes held no fear, and his expression revealed nothing, unlike the brown-haired bearded man, whose reddened face now had veins standing out in his anger as he pounded his fist and shoulders against the metal bars. "Your attempts to escape from this cart are feeble," the Nycline woman murmured. She had a soft, honeyed voice that made me shiver. Her naturally narrow eyes blinked at him as if confused by his behavior. Her milky white skin matched her sleek white hair. Even I had to admit she and the other Nyclimes all looked beautiful, as if trying to disguise their cruel natures. Yeah, the chat said hi, hello, thank you for joining. Thanks, Ray, Royal, you've got me covered. I glared at her with all the fury I could muster. Even though the buff man showed his fury outwardly and used it with all of his strength, I directed my fury through my words. I always had. "What's the filthy Nyclime doing here?" I spat. The Nyclime woman slid her almond-shaped eyes to me. They curved into a slant, different from how our Rin eyes often stayed straight. Although I hadn't seen mine in such a long time, I couldn't remember my own eye color. "You may call me Quarren. The Nyclimes often even take their own people for their games." The buff man awkwardly rubbed his beard with his chained hands and scoffed at her. "Why would they take some of their own? They've got more than enough contestants with all the other Wrens and Lymirs they've kidnapped." He doubled his hands into fists. Quarren brushed strands of her sleek hair out of her face. "Not all Nyclimes approve of the games or the sadistic tactics used in them. My family often spoke out against them. For this reason, they took me to prove a point to my family." At this, her slanted eyes stared down at the floor of the cart. "Sorry." The buff man flashed her a sympathetic grin. "Name's Osias." So he had already forgiven her, huh? Not me. I tended to hold grudges, especially against the race of the people that had just murdered my father and brother in the raid. Neither of them would simply lie down and let the Nyclimes take me. We had all fought back, but they'd chosen me. My father had gotten old and weak over the years. I hated to admit it, but at least it made logical sense to kill him rather than take him. But my brother? Tears filled my eyes, but I sucked in a deep breath and focused on the surroundings as the cart floated at least a foot above the ground, trailing alongside a dozen others. "What's your name?" Osias gazed at me. "Vita." I left it at that. When he opened his mouth to speak to me again, I shook my head at him. "Look, Osias, we all know why we're here. The Nyclimes plan to watch us play their games on their little telecams, drones, and fancy technology. We'll be competing against each other to the death soon. So the only people we need to know are our partners." Quarren shook her head. "Yes, but our partners in the games will not be chosen immediately. We must survive the qualifier round first." The red-headed woman finally peeked up through the fiery strands of her hair with a loud gulp. qualify around? What's that? Corin pursed her lips. The 50 of those taken captive will all compete, usually in a highly physical challenge. Only the first 15 males and the first 15 females to finish the challenge will survive. The rest will die, either in the challenge or be killed once it finishes. At this, the red-headed woman sobbed and ducked behind her hair again. Osias grunted and glared outside the bars of the cage. It hovered over the ground, racing across the rough, jagged landscapes that my father, brother, and I had once navigated to find scraps, trade, and survive. Now we'd be taken to their arena dome, locked inside and forced to compete to the death. I'd make sure I survive, no matter what. That's the first scene in Survivor. Ugh. I gotta admit, I'm getting really used to getting the voices down. I started to do skits on as like shorts and stuff, and so I'm having a lot of fun doing character voices. Like if I can't find a narrator, I may end up having to narrate this book myself, honestly. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any questions, it looks like we've got 5 people. So hello. Thank you everyone for stopping by. Earlier I asked if anybody, like, if you guys read, and if so, like, what's your go-to genre? Like, what is your comfort genre to read? Like, if you've had a long day and you're just sitting there and you want to relax, if reading is your relaxation thing, what's your go-to genre? If reading is not, if you play video games or watch movies or TV shows, like, for me, it kind of depends on my mood. So yeah, like I said, the pinned comment will have a link to the Kickstarter. And if you enjoyed this sample of Kickstarter, of Survivor, then check it out in the Kickstarter, because the illustrations, the character guide, the bonus story, trust me, I'm nefarious for ending on cliffhangers, so having that short companion book at the end will be a saving grace for you guys. So you really want to get this Kickstarter edition before it's gone. There's only 6 days left. So the link is in the pinned comment for you guys. And if you do back, then come back to my YouTube channel or my Instagram page and join the giveaway, because you want to be entered to win Dark Magi, the audiobook to it, the audiobook for my book Samurai, and also a swag bag full of what's they're called, like postcards of illustrations and some bookmarks and stuff like that. So yeah, so that was the first scene. I actually technically, usually if I give a sample of the book, I actually keep going through the second scene, but that seemed like a decent stopping point. Let me see. Yeah, so I technically could keep going. Or we could stop there, because I feel like I've actually done a pretty decent live stream this time. So, any level of backing will let you qualify for the giveaway. Yep, I always forget to say something, so Ray Royal is on it. Yeah, you can back at any tier. Literally, the smallest tier is the ebook, which is $5. That's the price of a cup of coffee or most drinks. I think some cup of coffees from Starbucks may actually be more than $5, but I don't drink coffee, so I actually can't quote that for sure. But yeah, it's got lots of different, it's got the $5, the limited collection edition ebook. So like I said, if you want this version before it's gone, you can get the ebook. It's only $5, and that one comes with a shout out on social media, which is optional. And then for $7, you can add some digital swag to your order, but $5, that is my go-to thing. I like to be as cheap and efficient as possible. So overall, the tropes in this, we've got platonic friendships. There's a lot of platonic friendships. There is one in particular, I call them bro ships, because it's like it's a friendship between 2 guys who become like brothers. So that's always fun. It's multiple POVs, so you're going to jump around to different POVs. Found family. We got some morally gray heroes. No one is safe. Evil regime watching for entertainment, high stakes survival. We got no spice romantic subplots, so those are interesting. And some of the character art some of the illustration art actually is of illustrations of the romantic subplot couples. Kill or be killed. So those are some of the tropes in this game. And like I said, the Kickstarter right now is working toward its 3rd stretch goal. So if you back at any tier, you can enter the giveaway, as Ray Royal pointed out, at any level. But as a backer, your name will be added to a dedication page in this main book here. So this dedication page here will actually list out all of the backers' names. If you don't want to, you can opt out. Like, I get some people don't want their name listed, like that would totally understandable. But if you do want to have your name memorialized as like a thank you for helping bring this book to life, it'll be in the dedication page, and you will also be sent a special Survivor bookmark with your book, or digital if you order the digital book. And so we're working toward our third stretch goal, which is printouts of the illustrations. So I wish I actually had them to show. They are so gorgeous. Moimoy13.art designed the illustrations. Also wanted to shout out my team. So I already called out moimoy13.art on Instagram. He designed the illustrations. Ren's Covers on Facebook did the cover design for this, for the whole series. And if you guys check out the Kickstarter page, he actually designed the new banner that's up, which is gorgeous, by the way. It is so lovely. He designed that for me in like a day. I was like, can you make a banner really quickly? Because I have like 7 days left. And he's like, yeah. And so he literally, that was a rush job for him, but he was so fantastic. So Ren's Covers. And then my editor, H.A. Pruitt, edited this book, and I started working with her from Rogue Forward, so, like, she's the editor from Forward, so, shout out to her. She also designed 12 character sketches that are going to be in the character guide. It looks fabulous. He does a great job. Thank you. Yeah, it was like a rush job. I was like, can you have that done by tomorrow? And he's like, yep, and so he just designed it in a day, and I'm just like, I don't know how you do it, because I've been trying to make really good looking banners on Kickstarter, on Canva, I mean. It hasn't exactly worked, but I'm glad to have the good one now. So, like I said, 6 days left in the Kickstarter. So, yeah. So be sure to check out the Kickstarter. Thank you guys so much for watching my live stream, and I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, it is action-packed. It still has really important emotional themes. We've got some really good no-spice romantic subplots with, like, emotional substance. Some of those romances are, like, really good. They're really spoony. There's amazing characters in here. We've got some morally gray ones. We've got some characters that you're going to probably hate, and that's going to be fun. So yeah, it's just like this really action-packed, adventurous book. If you like the TV show Survivor, if you like the Hunger Games, any sort of that vibe, then you may like this book. If you like Sunrise on the Reaping, and not Catching Fire. Yeah, Catching Fire. I don't know why my brain pulled a blank for a second. Then you may like this book. So thank you guys so much for watching the live stream. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. That was a sharing page. Be nice if I knew how to exit this thing.